All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we are diving headfirst into a what-if battle for the ages. We're talking Shadow Monarch versus Eminence and Shadow Sung Jinwoo taking on Sid Kaganu.
And what a matchup it is. Talk about a clash of styles.
You guys sent in some seriously in-depth analysis for this one, and honestly, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. It's Jinwoo, the ultimate powerhouse who built his strength from scratch, going up against Sid, who's basically a walking cheat code in disguise.
You're not kidding. I mean, where do we even begin? Jin Wu, the Shadow Monarch himself, commanding a shadow army that could probably conquer a small country. It's insane.
Don't even get me started on his leveling speed. It's like every time he blinks, he's got a new power-up. Ruler's Authority, Shatter Exchange, teleporting through shadows, the guy's a one-man army.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't forget his sheer determination. Jinwoo earned his power, clawed his way to the top through blood, sweat, and a whole lot of shadows. By the end of solo leveling, he's practically untouchable.
And then there's Sid. Where Jinwoo is all about constant growth and pushing his limits, Sid's power is just ridiculous, like off the charts ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he could win most fights with his pinky finger.
You're probably right, and that's what makes him so fascinating. It's like he's the embodiment of every overpowered protagonist cliche, but he owns it.
Totally. And he does it all with a straight face, too. But he can be surprisingly strategic when he wants to be.
That's the thing about Sid. You never know if he's taking things seriously or if he's just messing around until it's too late.
Okay, so I've got Jinwoo, the strategic mastermind with an army at his command, and Sid, the ridiculously powerful wild card who treats battles like a game. I'm already getting chills just thinking about it. So how do their fighting styles actually stack up?
Picture this. Jinwoo, always analyzing, always adapting, using his agility and those shadow dashes to outmaneuver and strike from the shadows. He'd be a whirlwind, a force of nature.
And Sid, he'd be yawning, probably making sarcastic comments while effortlessly dodging every attack.
You're probably not wrong. He might even be enjoying the challenge, at least at first. But here's the thing. Jinwoo thrives on his enemies underestimating him. He uses their arrogance against them.
And Sid practically invented arrogance. This is getting good. So how does this showdown actually play out? Give me the blow-by-blow.
Well, according to the battle scenario you've provided, it would start with Jinwoo testing the waters, sending out those shadow soldiers of his to probe Sid's defenses. He's all about strategy, remember?
And Sid's probably loving every second of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. He'll probably dispatch a few of them without even breaking a sweat, all while playing up the Eminence and Shadow persona. But we both know Jinwoo wouldn't stay on the defensive for long.
He'd have to unleash the big guns.
Exactly. Eventually, he'd call in the heavy hitters. Baru, Igris, the really scary ones. That's when Sid might have to at least pretend to get serious.
Pretend being the key word, of course.
Of course. But then we come to the real crux of this fight. Can Jinwoo's relentless assault and endless endurance overcome Sid's sheer, almost unfair power? Or will Sid finally decide to stop playing around and unleash the full force of his abilities?
Okay, now you're just messing with me. Don't leave us hanging.
All right. But you'll have to wait for the answer because we're diving even deeper into this epic showdown after a quick break.
And we are back. We're diving right back into this epic battle analysis. Shadow Monarch versus Eminence in Shadow. It's the clash of titans, the battle of the century. Well, hypothetically speaking, anyway.
And believe me, picking a clear winner in this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about as easy as trying to catch Sid actually trying in a fake. We're talking next to impossible here.
But that's what makes it so fun to unpack, right? You've brought us a ton of insights into these two characters. It's amazing how some of their strengths almost seem like weaknesses, depending on how you look at it.
Totally. Take Jinwoo, for instance. His strength is his relentless growth, his determination. He never stops, never backs down, and his power just keeps climbing. But against someone like Sid, who can warp reality on a whim, well, you have to wonder if even an army of shadows would be enough.
That's a really good point. And then there's Sid's whole thing, the whole I'm so bored because I'm so powerful act he's got going on.
Yeah, that act could be his undoing in a fight like this.
Exactly. Against your average opponent, it's intimidating, sure. But Jinwoo's face down gods and monsters. Sid can't just waltz in expecting an easy victory, even if he is ridiculously strong.
You know, it's like the classic tortoise and hare story, only in this case, the hare has superpowers that could level a city.
Oh man, the visuals for that would be insane. So we've got Jinwoo with the stamina and the strategy, and Sid with the raw power and speed. It's making my head spin. Who wins in a battle of endurance versus overwhelming strength?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the truth is, there's no easy answer. It all comes down to the nuances, the little details that could tip the scales in either direction.
You're killing me with the suspense here. Give me something.
Look, we can analyze powers and fighting styles all day long, but what makes this matchup truly fascinating is the psychological aspect.
Ooh, getting deep now. Tell me more.
Think about it. How would Jinwoo, someone who's faced down countless challenges and come out on top, react to an opponent who seemingly can't be hurt, who shrugs off every attack? That would mess with anyone's head.
And on the flip side, how would Sid, who's used to everyone cowering before his overwhelming power, react when he meets an opponent who not only stands his ground but actually pushes back?
You see, it's a battle of wills as much as it is a battle of strength. It's a story waiting to be told.
This is why we love these hypothetical battles. So much potential, so many possibilities. But sadly, we are fresh out of time for today's deep dive. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's time to finally finish our deep dive into the ultimate what-if battle. Shadow Monarch versus Eminence in Shadow. The tension is real, folks. I don't know about you, but I am on the edge of my seat here.
I have to say, of all the matchups we've analyzed on this show, this one has to be the closest. Both of these characters are at the top of their game, practically forces of nature at this point.
Okay, so walk me through this. What are we looking at when these two titans clash? Paint me a picture of this final showdown.
All right, picture this. Jinwoo, the Shadow Monarch, surrounded by his army of shadows, a symphony of darkness and power, moving with a speed and precision that would make even the most seasoned hunter weep. He's a force of nature, constantly adapting, constantly growing stronger.
And Sid, where's our favorite overpowered protagonist in all of this?
Oh, Sid is there, all right. Imagine him just existing at the eye of the storm, effortlessly deflecting every attack, a ghost of a smirk playing on his lips. It's like he's toying with Jinwoo, reveling in the chaos he's created.
But we know he can't just stand there forever, right? At some point, Jinwoo's got to land a hit.
Oh, he will, eventually.
Yeah.
But that's where things get interesting. Remember, Jinwoo thrives on wearing his opponents down, exploiting their weaknesses. But what if Sid doesn't have any weaknesses? Or at least any that he's willing to show?
You're saying that Sid's whole act, his nonchalance, it's all part of his strategy. That's terrifying.
Precisely. Because we, the audience, and by extension Jinwoo, we never know when he's actually trying, do we? He could be one step away from unleashing a world-ending attack, and he'd probably do it with a yawn.
So how can Jinwoo possibly win? I mean, we're talking about a guy who once punched a hole in reality. How do you even fight that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer, well, it depends. If Jinwoo can outsmart Sid, outmaneuver him, maybe even use that overconfidence against him, then yes, he has a shot. Remember, Jinwoo's never been one to back down from a challenge. He's the ultimate underdog, the guy who always finds a way to win, no matter the odds.
So you're saying there's hope for our Shadow Monarch.
Hope and a whole lot of strategy. Because if this becomes a battle of attrition, if Jinwoo can force Sid to actually put in some effort, well, then things might just tip in his favor.
This has been such a wild ride, but I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's not just about who has the bigger power level or the cooler abilities. It's about how those powers and personalities interact, clash.
Exactly. And that's what makes these hypothetical battles so much fun to dissect. It's a testament to the creators of these characters that we can have these discussions, these debates, and still never come to a definitive answer.
It's like the ultimate thought experiment. But sadly, all good things must come to an end, and that includes today's episode. A huge thank you to our expert for breaking down this epic showdown and to all of you for listening. Remember, keep those hypothetical battles raging, and we'll see you next time on the show.